Big news about Newsmax. You know, AT&T's DirecTV, last night they removed Newsmax TV from its satellite and systems, including DirecTV, DirecTV Stream, and Uverse. All right? Now, this is the second conservative channel that AT&T DirecTV has removed from its cable system in the past year. Last year, One America OWN, OAN, was deplatformed by AT&T DirecTV. They actually offer no real reason for doing this, but it did happen after congressional Democrats, led by Nancy Pelosi, demanded that OAN, Newsmax, and Fox News be deplatformed for providing what they called misinformation. AT&T and DirecTV quickly complied with the Democrats' instruction. Newsmax was up for renewal this month with DirecTV. Now, during months of negotiations with DirecTV, they insisted that Newsmax should not get a small cable license fee. This is standard, but they didn't want to give us 1 penny. Newsmax, you have to remember, is the 4th highest rated cable news channel and a top 20 channel, and all cable channels in the top 100 actually get these cable fees. DirecTV airs 22 liberal news and information channels. All of them get cable fees. DirecTV says it was a cost-cutting measure, but you got to keep in mind they made $2.7 billion in profits. And the channels that have not nearly as high ratings that we have, they're still there and they're getting their fees. How about that? AT&T and DirecTV's decision to deplatform, censor, and demonetize Newsmax, we believe, is a blatant form of political discrimination. Our viewers, you guys, can help us fight back, all right? A couple of things you can do here. If you are a DirecTV customer or an AT&T customer, even if you just have a cell phone, or you can call them and tell them that you oppose their woke practices and woke companies. You can also cancel their services. That's something to consider. You have many options where Newsmax is carried or where you can get a cell phone, for example. Second, we are urging you to call your congressman or your senator today and demand they investigate AT&T and DirecTV for their discrimination against conservative media. So please go online. You can go to iwantnewsmax.com and sign our petition and find out how you can join us, join our fight. You can also text the word TRUTH, T-R-U-T-H, to 39747, and we will send you information right away about our petition and what's happening. Newsmax needs your support against the establishment giants like AT&T and DirecTV. Please act today. You can tell your family and friends to join us, America, and our freedoms, including free speech. These are important, and we have to fight for them, okay? Thank you very much. And now, on to another entity that was deplatformed, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, but good news. He's already been reinstated by Twitter, and today, Facebook announced that he can come back to that platform, and also Instagram. They put out a statement a few hours ago. Let's go through it. Very generous of them. Not. This shouldn't have happened in the first place. We will be ending the suspension of Mr. Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts in the coming weeks. Let's see. What's next, please? We've put new guardrails in place to deter repeat offenses. And also, the public should be able to hear what politicians are saying so they can make informed decisions. Yes, again, how generous. Donald Trump never should have been removed from these platforms in the first place, obviously. And we've been through January 6th a million times. You know what I'm talking about. And as far as Facebook, you got to remember, and big tech in general, and other companies, how left-leaning they are. And quite frankly, you can see it in the body language. Barack Obama with Mark Zuckerberg. I often wondered where they were going after this picture. It looks like they're going away for the weekend or something, right? They're going to Vegas, and how about, you can tell by the body language, the chill, right? The tension. Now, this Mark Zuckerberg wanted the world to know that he did not like Donald Trump. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, these things could get way too big for private ownership. I believe that we have to think about making them a utility, something that they can't manipulate and deprive us of. For instance, the light bulb and electricity. I've made this point a couple of times, but can you imagine if Thomas Edison only gave electricity to those he agreed with politically? Or Alexander Graham Bell, the phone, you could only talk on his phone if he agreed with what you had to say? If that were the case, America would have taken. There are ways you can do it legally. There are antitrust laws. And we have to take a big look at it. I don't want to rely on the generosity or the moodiness of Mark Zuckerberg or some other billionaire, okay? We've got to take a look at that. In the meantime, amnesty! Amnesty. It's no big deal after all. You got classified documents. If you're an ex-president, an ex-vice president, no problem. You got a grace period. Just give us a call, the federal government, and give these papers back. Yes. According to the Washington Post, the National Archives is weighing whether to ask living former presidents and vice presidents to review their personal records to verify that no classified materials are inadvertently outstanding. Listen to this woman.
You all say you don't have anything, but Mike Pence didn't think he had anything, and Joe Biden didn't think he had anything. So they're just going to try to set the record straight and ask everybody, please go quadruple check.
Oh, please go quadruple check, huh? That would be. They sent the cops into Mar-a-Lago. Remember that atrocity? I mean, oh gosh, the deep state, they've been caught in their own trap. They've been caught in their own trap. And now the fake news is cooperating every step of the way. Oh, suddenly having classified documents is not such a big deal. Classified documents get misplaced all the time, Time magazine tells us. What else? While Biden and Trump have caught flack from both sides of the political aisle, the problem is actually fairly common among those who work in the executive branch. You don't say. What else here, please? When you have massive amounts of paper flowing through any office in the federal government, it's not unusual for classified and unclassified to become inadvertently intermingled. Oh, they all have excuses. And this is from the Associated Press. It turns out former officials from all levels of government discover they are in possession of classified material and turn them over to the authorities at least several times a year. How about that? These are the same guys, again, who called the cops on President Trump. The National Archives being so magnanimous. They're the ones who started this all. Again, they got caught in their own trap. On January 20th of 2021, when Donald Trump was moving out of the White House, some busybody over the National Archives saw this on TV, saw what we're watching right now, these boxes being moved out. And because it's Trump, they got all suspicious, right? He can't even move boxes without being hassled. Take a look at this. The archives chief is watching TV. He admits it. I can remember watching the Trumps leaving the White House and saying to myself, what the hell's in that box? And next, that began a whole process of trying to determine whether any records had not been turned over to the National Archives. They sicked the deep state on Trump again. Meanwhile, the most obviously corrupt and compromised person, I do believe it's very safe to say that Joe Biden, I mean, look at the situation right now, Ukraine and Russia. You do know, let's remind everybody that Joe Biden has entanglements with both Ukraine and Russia through his son Hunter. Hunter has done extensive deals. All right, we all know about him. $83,000 a month from Burisma, the mayor of Moscow's wife. Lots and lots of money flowing to Hunter. And could it be 10% for the big guy? I wonder. I mean, I think it's very reasonable to wonder about Joe's, what does he do when a war starts between these two countries where he has these entanglements? Well, today he's decided to give one side tanks.
Today, I'm announcing that the United States will be sending 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, the equivalent of 1 Ukrainian battalion. Secretary Austin has recommended this step because it will enhance the Ukraine's capacity to defend its territory and achieve its strategic objectives.
Okay, more tanks. More on that in a moment. But this is odd. It really is, because a year ago, when it looked like Russia was poised to invade Ukraine, when you say things like, don't do this or else, or you warn the guy. What did Joe do? He gave him an invitation.
I'm not so sure he is certain what he's going to do. My guess is he will move in. He has to do something.
He's got to do something. Might as well invade. That's strange. And again, I think it's because of the entanglements, right? We don't know the full extent of what he had going on, but we do know some stuff was going on. We also know that he met with Putin less than a year before the invasion. Putin sized up Joe Biden and thought, I can take this Yankee, I do believe. And Joe has had this fixation on Ukraine for, well, a long time. Going over there, meeting with the president, even meeting with the president just 3 days before he left as vice president in 2021. 3 days before leaving, he goes to Ukraine.
Mr. President, I may have to call you once every couple of weeks just to hear your voice. It's been going on a long time.
Why would he have to call the president of Ukraine as the ex-vice president of the United States? Why would he have to do that? Because Hunter works there. This is one of the reasons why Barack Obama has turned on Joe Biden, because he got clumsy, he got greedy, and he was always stupid. And here's Hunter writing an email that may have been informed perhaps by secret documents. You know, Hunter normally doesn't write like this. All right, he's advising his buddy Devin Archer about the situation in Ukraine. Some sort of decentralization will likely occur in the east. If it doesn't, the Russians will continue to escalate their destabilization campaign, which could lead to a full-scale takeover of the eastern region, most critically Donetsk. The strategic value is to create a land bridge for RU to Russia to Crimea. This is high-level stuff. A lot of people wonder if he's getting a briefing or if he's looking through his father's paperwork, huh? Next, again, this is not how Hunter talks. We've seen the text messages. It will also result in further destabilization of Ukraine nationally and for whatever government is in power. And the U.S. will respond with even stronger sanctions. Is this just Hunter's best guess at what's going on? There's more. Those sanctions will threaten the tenuous support of the EU, which does not have the political will to incur steep energy price increases. It's getting very technical for a guy who is usually just looking for hookers and drugs over electronic communications. I'm sorry, it's true. It's in the laptop. Next. Kazakhstan could play a pivotal role by providing gas at rates lower than what the Russians are asking. But hey, by the way, RUs, look at that. Nobody abbreviates Russians like that. People educated in America don't abbreviate like that. I don't think so. I think this was written by somebody else. Somebody who works for the government, maybe, right? All right, a couple more here. We can actually be of real value here as opposed to all of our other scams. Developing relationships, bringing us expertise, U.S. expertise to the company, supplying strategic advice on politics and geopolitical risk assessment and strippers. Next, please. BSF Burisma can actually have direct discussions at State Energy and NSC. I believe that stands for National Security Council. How can Burisma have access to these guys? All right, now he goes into CYA mode, okay, covering himself. The announcement of my guy's upcoming travels, my guy, that's his dad, should be characterized as part of our advice and thinking, but what he will say and do is out of our hands. For the time being, this is just covering himself in case this email gets discovered. He thinks this gets him off the hook. It doesn't. Next, the contract should begin now. We want the money now, not after the upcoming visit of my guy, his dad, the VP. This is crazy. This is corruption. Oh, it's so obvious. I think they have a plan. This could be the big break we've been waiting for if they really are smart enough to understand our long-term value. That's right. Joe's going to be president of the United States if they get their way. And what about keeping all this stuff? If they are looking to just use us until the storm passes, then we risked far too much for far too little. What's the risk? Buy a cell phone from a 7-Eleven or CVS tomorrow, and I'll do the same. A burner phone so nobody can. What a mess. What a horrible mess. And there's a war happening right now, and people have died potentially because Joe is conflicted about what to do. He knows that this stuff exists. Could a war maybe help? Could it hurt? Do you think he's wondering that? If I had this kind of baggage, I'd be wondering that. I do know this, there would be no war if it were for Donald Trump. If he were still in power, 62% of Americans believe there would be no war in Ukraine. All right, hey, back to the tanks. Joe Biden had a little trouble figuring out exactly who makes the decisions and who helps him on military matters.
The Secretary of State, the Secretary of the military behind me they've been deeply involved in this whole effort.
You know, I served 9 years in the military, active duty, and about a dozen in the reserves. I have never, ever heard the Secretary of Defense referred to as the Secretary of the military. Oh, well. So the M1 tanks are going over there, right? An M1 tank. That is quite a machine. And let's face it, our Pentagon doesn't really need them right now, right? The Pentagon, they're booked with other tasks, okay? They got a lot of other things to worry about. DEI, they've got trans issues, they got everything. You name it, they're worried about it, right? That's our Pentagon. Hey, back to the documents now. Quick review. Where, everybody, have the documents been discovered so far? A lot of different places. Biden's house, the Chinatown facility, we know they were there. Biden's garage, the Penn Biden Center. Where do you think the next batch is going to be found? Because another batch is going to be found. Some people think it could be the University of Delaware. He has thousands and thousands of documents stored there from his Senate days. What about the beach house? Joe went there over the weekend. Very cold in January. Why did he go there? Was he cleaning up? Are there going to be some in the basement? Famous basement? Maybe. Spent a lot of time down there. I would bet money on this. They're going to turn up in some ice cream parlor. Joe has eaten a lot of ice cream. He spends a lot of time. Could it be? Could it be? I mean, look, they were found in the garage. Why not an ice cream parlor? He's not going to be renominated. And now I don't think he's actually going to make it a full term in office. Sorry. Time's up, Joe. And we'll be right back. Take a look at this, please. It's a gun with its barrel all warped. It's supposed to be a sign of peace, but actually I think it's a sign of totalitarianism. We'll be right back.